Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm SweetBats, and today we're popping back to my old setup to start off this doll, an Alyssa bat. I got her secondhand and with no clothes, and her hair has certainly seen better days, so she's a great candidate for a repaint. Admittedly, I'd rather not repaint over the more rare or sought-after dolls unless they're already heavily pre-loved, but I'm sure this will change in the future. For now, I'll just work on the ones that collectors can't get too upset at me for customizing, and start by fully removing her hair. I've had a Scara Screams repaint that I did very early on in my customizing journey, and have been using that as my photo across my socials. And as much as I love that face-up, after she sold I figured it was probably time to update my display picture to something a little more permanent. I wanted to make a logo, but I haven't been able to make anything I like enough yet. So, for the time being, please indulge me in this small vanity project as I make a doll of myself.
There's still more?
Once her head is all cleaned out, we can jump forward several years to my current workspace and wipe the factory paint off with acetone. I forgot I had painted my nails, so I make a mess of my polish in the process as well. After a few priming layers of Mr. Superclear, I start sketching on the face. The colors were laying on extremely well, something I haven't been able to often get on the first layer, and I was sure it was a sign that this doll was going to go well.
Why the f would anything nice ever happen?
I tried making my eyes, which are a bit hooded and downturned, and found myself struggling to do this with the face mold. You can even see me ignoring the eyes being two completely different shapes before finally trying to fix it. Always the victim of sunk cost fallacy. I really wanted to keep going, but the eyes just ended up too big and cutesy and not what I was going for at all. And I knew I needed to do these eyes over. I also unintentionally went too heavy-handed with the blush, so I ended up just wiping the whole face and starting fresh. I'm already so much happier with these eyes, and it's great practice for working outside of the sculpt. I still end up tweaking them a fair amount throughout the video, especially the left eye, but it's a definite improvement. My eyebrows are pretty straight and dark, so I block out a general shape with pastels, refine it with an eraser, then darken the ends and draw individual hairs with a watercolor pencil. Before I add too many layers of MSC and risk damaging the face up, I drill into the nostrils to make a septum piercing. I won't be adding the jewelry at this point since I'm not sure how it will react with the MSC, and I certainly don't want it staining the vinyl. I seal in my progress with MSC and spend the next few layers darkening colors and adding extra details to bring life to the face. can't forget the eye bags. I'm tired. In the past, I've gone too light on pastels, and it was muted by the MSC. So I've been making efforts to go a little darker than the end result I want, since it should lighten up on the next layer. Unfortunately, the contour stayed a bit too dark, so I used some white pastels to try and brighten the area a bit. Once I'm happy, I go back to building up the other colors that I want to have that intensity. My eyes are hazel, with brown in the center and green at the edges. And while I've been putting brown pastel and pencil down throughout, it hasn't given the right effect. To try and nail it, I wet a small paintbrush and start pulling the brown out into the green. Once I'm happy with the face, I add shines to the eyes and deepen the lashes with acrylic paint before the final layer of sealant. To finish the face up, I gloss the eyes with 2 layers of Tamiya acrylic gloss. I generally gloss the lips on my dolls, but I personally tend to wear matte lipsticks, so no gloss this time. Off camera, I also make a simple wig cut into the grown-out pixie style I had at the time. Fun fact, my hair is no longer bleached, so this doll is pretty inaccurate now. I take some thinner gauge wire and make a U shape by bending it around a thin crochet needle, and with the help of some pliers, stick it up into the nose holes I made earlier. I end up having to drill them again with a slightly larger drill, making sure to do so carefully as to not damage the face. Taking wire, a Sharpie to get the shape right, and several attempts, I make my large round glasses. I'm not sure why I initially stuck my test head onto this Sharpie and why I put one of Takemi's failed wigs on her, but my doll Sharpie is a staple at the craft desk now. Once I'm happy with the shape, I lay them on the face to get an idea of where to bend the arms so it fits to the head right, bending them around the ears off camera. I'm not entirely pleased with how they look on, but when the wig is on just right, it's much less noticeable. The wig needs a bit more touching up, so I use an eyebrow razor to give a natural look to the ends. The mullety look might be accurate to how my hair actually grows out, but my doll gets the benefit of a nice style and not having to worry about awkward growing stages. I got a new phone while working on this doll and ended up breaking the earring I was using to try and get the SIM card out. Since I can't wear them anymore, my doll gets to. I apparently did not film the doll clothes process at all. So to give a quick recap, I used the fake platform shoe pattern and base from Moonlight Jewel, which my friend was kind enough to print several bases for me years ago, and I am slowly working my way through using them. I have a pair of bat wing attachments that I wear on my shoes, and I sketched out what it looked like for reference, then redrew it as an overlay on the shoe pattern to ensure scale and fit. Once happy with it, I cut it out from the same faux leathery fabric I made the shoes with, sewed the wing detail, and attached them to the shoes at the eyelet stage. Then just followed the rest of the instructions as normal. Once fully assembled and laced up, they look like this. I think the shirt was made from DG Requiem's Basics, and I used my Cricut to cut out a bat pattern in the shirt, then cut a small rectangle of mesh fabric to attach from the inside. The pants were made from a pattern by Pulp and Ciel, and my only regret is I got too perfectionist with lining up parts of the pattern when cutting the pieces out, not realizing it would end up looking a little odd when sewn together, like how barely any of the black sections are showing, and the front is just mirrored on each leg. I might remake these in the future if it keeps bothering me enough. The belt was a strip of the same leathery fabric folded over, with a wire bent into the shape of a belt buckle sewn on, and chains draped and sewn to the front and back of the belt. And with that, my little mini-me is all done. Despite me taking forever to finish this, I had so much fun making this doll. I'm not sure if I'm going to incorporate her into future videos, but it's nice to have a more permanent face for my channel. One of these days I'll get a logo or something, but for now you're stuck with doll face. A special mention to my patrons, Bear and Han, but I want to thank everyone watching for your support. It truly means so much to me that no matter how long I'm kept away from the hobby by personal and professional obligations, you're all still here when I come back and offering the kindest words. I have another large project in the works that's over half done at this point, and I hope it's not too long before I finish it up and have another video for you all. Thanks again, and like always, take care. The wig needs a bit more touching up, so use an eyebrow raver.